Hello and welcome to Banished with me, the most everyone, aka MrSuryt. Yes, another indie game that I'm playing, this one by Shining Rock Software, a very, very small little software company, more or less just one person. Despite that, Banished is actually quite a polished game. This is a game that I have been looking forward to for a long time. I was actually following it for months, and I've been playing the hell out of it. It's a town builder, I guess. And I've been playing so much of it, I wasn't going to bring it to you guys. Then I realised something last night. I had a bit of an epiphany. This is the perfect game to play and bring to you guys. And the reason being is because I was not playing it. It was playing me. This game has a way of absolutely screwing you over. We're going to give it a shot anyway. Now I suppose town name, I can't type. We'll stick with Fairwind. Why not? Map seed. Much the same as Minecraft, you'll be familiar with. Different seeds. I don't have any seed in particular that I like or enjoy or want to go with, so we're just going to go random. Terrain type, we'll stick with valley over mountains. It's still a little bit hard to find land even in valleys, just because of all the creeks and the rivers. Climate, we're going with mild. Mild in this game is not what I'd call mild. Last night, my house, it was 32 degrees Celsius. I live in an area I would say is mild. In this game, mild gets to -10. -9, -10 degrees. That is harsh as far as I'm concerned. Maybe that's just me growing up in Australia. I like it a little bit hotter. Disasters, we're leaving disasters on. Now, disasters suck. They really do. Not the last playthrough I've been doing, but the one before that. I was actually going quite well, when all of a sudden the event log started just streaming death, 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 death. And then a tornado touched down and just tore my town to pieces. Left me with one female of breeding age. And she was about 38, so she only had one kid before she died. That was the end of the game. So disasters can be a bit of a problem, but it's part of the game, so I say we keep them. Starting conditions, I only ever play hard, the rest seem too easy. Easy, for example, you start with 6 families, a large amount of clothing, food, firewood, building material, tools. Homes and storage areas have already been built. You have seeds for the fields and for your orchards, your fruit farms, and you've got a herd of livestock. In other words, you play easy. As soon as you log in, the game is done. You've finished. You've done everything. Why play it? Medium is a little bit better. You have 5 families, clothing, food, firewood, tools, and construction material. Storage barn has already been built. And you get some seeds for your fields. You don't get any animals. That's also a little bit too easy mode. Hard mode, you start off with very few families, 4 families in fact. Small amount of clothing, food, firewood and tools are provided. No seeds, no animals, no buildings. That's for me. So let's get going on our new village, Fairwind. Fairwind, if you're wondering, is the name that I use in pixel piracy for the entire world, really. So we're going to stick with Fairwind. The load-in can take a little bit of time. Now this game does kick your ass. Just, if you're 5 minutes out on getting a gatherer's hut set up, you will starve to death. Nothing you can do about it. So you got to get it pretty spot on early game. And after that, you're generally not too bad unless you have a bit of bad luck. Alright, we've actually got a really good area. I don't often get an area this good. Very nice. Alright, I think we're probably going to set up... Well, yeah, I think we'll set up in this area here. We've got areas over here for mining. And probably also quarries. Probably put all our timber, our wood, hunters and gatherers and herbalists sort of in this area here, with a secondary one probably up here, and over this side I might have some farms when we get to that. Or I could also cross over and have farms down here. But to begin with, we are going to set up our UI. We want the general statistics, we want the event log, and we want the jobs. These are the three main ones that I like to have up. Okay, the general statistics. You've obviously got the name, you've got any kind of up here warning going on. In this case we've got 16 people that don't have a house. Well, duh, we've just started. So that's nothing surprising. You've got the season. It is currently early spring, and it is the first early spring, first year of. You've got your different peoples. Now the first 8 is adults. The next 0 is students. We've got no students, of course. We don't have a school. And then the last 8 there is the number of kids. After that is the weather and temperature. It's currently rainy, and it is 1 degree Celsius. Yay. Underneath this, we've got the hearts is your health of your citizens, the average health, and then the average happiness is the stars. The rest are just different resources. The more important resources, such as wood, firewood, food, your stone and your iron is resources for building different buildings, which is why it's up there. They can also be used, like your iron can actually be used for making tools. Tools are very important. They make your guys work faster. They all start off with a tool. Clothing keeps them warm. It's a good idea to make sure that your feet, you keep them clothed. There is 3 different levels of clothing. They start off with the basic. So if we click on one, you see they're basically living in rags. Some of them will be fair though. Generally it's the kids. Well, that's a child, but they're fair. Not fair. Rags. Alright, well, chances are they're all going to go and grab themselves a bit of clothing to start with. Upgrade to fair. Alcohol's not something that I often get into because it's very hard to get the plants required. It's very random. We will get there eventually, however. Now, the first thing we need is, of course, housing. We need if we don't have housing, they're all going to freeze to death. So the first thing we want, 3 options. You've got the boarding house, stone house, and a wooden house. Wooden house is probably what we're going to be building mostly. However, to begin with, we're going to go very expensive boarding house. The reason, hit R and T to rotate it. The reason we're going with the boarding house is because I will eventually be able to use this for a retirement home. Get rid of all the old people. So we're going to whack you down right there. We want to upgrade to wooden houses as fast as possible because the boarding house, it's not very family friendly, so that we won't have many kids being born. If you don't have enough kids being born, eventually your village is going to die out, of course. Next, roads. We're not going to build the roads just yet. We're going to leave enough room for them though, but the storage is very important. Storage barn. If we're going to have food production happening over here in the form of gatherers and hunters, and eventually we're going to have probably some farms over here or maybe up there, but we don't have any way of setting up a farm just yet, so we're going to rely on the hunters over here, which means we want to probably have our storage barn right here. The storage barn is where we put all of the food. It's also where things like tools and clothing will go. There is also the stockpile, which I would like to put just here. Unfortunately, we do have our cart that we came to the area with, full of resources there, so we can't put it there just yet. Maybe we can put it just here. 10 by 10 is the maximum size you can make this. So we are going maximum size. There we go. I want to get everything out of the storage cart as soon as possible. Things like the firewood and food will go straight into the boarding house. The hide coats and the tools, I'm going to have to tell my labourers to get those out of there once we've got the other storage setup. Alright, I also do like to pin all my construction items or areas just up and around the side here so I can see what's going on. What else? A trading depot is very important. So we're going to whack one of them down straight away. I'm going to put it right here. It has to be on the river. This here is where you get all your animals and your seeds for your farms and trees, seeds for the trees, for your orchards, all that kind of stuff. However, we don't need it right away. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause it. We're building it, but not yet. So they will completely ignore that. We have got an area set up for it. Alright, things like the school, the well, hospital, town hall, chapel and the cemetery, they're all important, just not in the first year. Food, however, is very important. We are going to start off with a fishing dock. We want it close enough to our storage barn that it doesn't take them too long to fill the storage barn up. Now you can see that there is a yellow circle around it. That's the area that they will fish in. If you have a second one, you want to make sure they do not overlap. So if they overlap, they will use up each other's fishing area. So we're going to put you right there. But we're going to turn you off for the time being. We only need one to begin with. Well, the next most important thing that needs to go down, probably the hunters. We want to make sure it's on a good area. Oops, wrong button. Have it facing towards... Actually, we'll have it going that way. And we'll set it up right here. Next to that, we want Gatherer's Hut. Gatherer's Hut's probably more important to begin with. I am going to put a road, just so I know where the road can go. Right through the middle of them there. I'll bring that over like so, I think. Go. Yeah, that'd be fine. Bring a road straight down like so. Connect up these guys. Connect you up like that. Okay, now I am going to turn the hunters off. The hunting, it takes up quite a while to get going with the hunting. So for that reason, we're going to turn it off until we've got the gatherers all going. Get the road going that way because we also want a few other resources. We want foresters. We need wood. And that's how you get it. Now there are a few other things. Obviously you've got the quarry, you've got the mine. We'll whack the mine down right away. We can put it down. It needs to be near a mountain. It's kind of a little bit out of the way over here. Doesn't seem to want to go down here though. I don't really want it to go over here. It'll take up hunting gathering area. Oh, it just doesn't want to be placed. That's quite a long way away though. We could put it over here. Maybe, if it lets us. Alright, we'll put it there. We're not going to build that straight away. That's something we don't need straight away. The quarry, I'm not even going to put the quarry down, I don't think. Oh, no, we can put the quarry down, I guess. Just flip it around. And we'll put you down there. but same deal, turn you off. The reason we're turning those off, we're not going to bother with them just yet, is because, well, they will produce iron and stone. Right here you can see the darker shade ones, that's iron, the lighter one is stone, and there is plenty of it already on the surface. So we don't need to go digging. What else do we need? We will need a woodcutter, so we'll whack down one of those, and we're going to put him... We're going to put him right here. Maybe. Keep hitting the wrong button. Let's just see about a house. Yeah, we can put a house there. Run woodcutter right there. And a road going across there. Come on, there you go. Alright, that house we are going to pause, and that woodcutter we are going to pause, because we don't need the woodcutter. The woodcutter turns wood into firewood, and we've got plenty enough wood, probably for the first 2 years. Over here, they're going to probably want their own houses over here. The significance of their own house, not only can they have families, we're going to pause these as well. Not only can they have their own families, but they'll also store food and firewood in there, so they don't have to go all the way back over here every time they're hungry. They'll just go to their house. Alright, so that's pretty much the basics set up. We can start them. We can start them off. Now there are a few other things that we will want to do. For example, right in here you can get rid of all resources in an area, and that's what we're going to do. Right across here, we're going to get rid of all the trees and all the rocks and iron in that area. That's a large area that we've just told them to harvest. In this area, we're not going to get rid of the trees, we're going to get rid of all the stone, however. So we don't want any stone in our hunting ground. And we're going to get rid of the iron. Not a great deal of iron in this area, but there's too much anyway. Now, basically the stone and the iron in this area, it's taking up area where we can have trees growing, or herbs, or onions, or mushrooms. It's also a bit of a hazard. These rocks can occasionally crush your villagers. So we get rid of them as quickly as we can so that our hunter doesn't get crushed or gatherer or anything like that, and it does happen. The hunter, the gatherer, and the forester, they will all at some point collect some of this stone if you don't collect it all beforehand. Alright, we've already got the stockpile up. Bit of iron and stone in there. Oh, and up in the event log, we've just had somebody, I'm terrible with names, Thela, we'll go with, just become an adult and is now a labourer. Which brings us down to this part here, the professions. Labourers, we have 9. They're the jack of all trades. They pretty much just run around and build things. Well, they don't build things, they collect things. They cut down all the trees and collect all the stones. They'll bring all the resources to the building site, get this building site all ready to go. So you need labourers. However, if you have, say, a blacksmith, and he doesn't have anywhere to work, he will stay the blacksmith, but he will run around and collect things and chop things down. He'll actually perform the tasks of the labourer whilst he waits for his blacksmith to be built. Oh, we've got another adult. 10 labourers. So even if you have no labourers, you generally will have other guys that they don't have anything to do right then and there. They will go around and still do some of the other work. They don't just sit idle doing nothing. To begin with, we are going to want a couple of builders though. We'll go with 3 builders. I'd normally go 4, but we'll go 3 this time round. Get a few things built. We want the shelter built ASAP. Before the shelter though, we can afford to get maybe a bit of food going first. They will try to get the shelter first and then food, because the problem they're having is no homes. We're going to go down here to Tools and Reports, select Increase Priority, and have them increase priority in this area here. We want them to build this fishing